Let's add an image to the 404 page in this lesson. First, we need to find this image. Again, we need to look for one that's free for commercial use. I know there's a website where you can find such images. Link in the lesson description. But again, I hope your designer creates all the images for you. All right, let's take this image. We should download it. Now let's work with images in PNG, JPEG formats, and so on in this lesson. Downloaded in PNG format. Here we have it at 101 kilobytes. You need to ensure that your images aren't too large in size. Most of the time, no matter where you get an image from, it weighs relatively a lot. To make it weigh relatively less, use the wonderful site TinyPNG. I've used it since childhood. It's very cool. Let's upload our image to it and see how it compresses it. It compressed it by 73%, and it didn't lose any quality at all. Downloading it. Switch to the folder and grab our icon. And now we move to the next folder. In our project, besides the public folder, where we store raw files without any processing, we also have something else. We also have an assets folder in SRC. There, we create an images folder. There is an old file from White left in this images folder. We don't need it. We delete it. Let's go into the images folder. We add our image and name it simply 404.png. Now let's learn to use it within our code. Well, for this, I suggest that on the Not Found page, we allow our error page component to accept optional children and display them under our alert. Remember, our 404 page looks like this now, but I want to be able to insert any additional content here, especially an image. So let's pass in children here. Children. And yes, we have children. Possible React node. Okay. Now let's edit error page component here, and we will display our image here. Okay. IMG, and we need to define its path. How to find the path. If we had placed it just in the public folder, we could write some string here to pass this image. Here's an alternative. If we put the image in the SRC assets folder, do the following. Import. Write any name as you like. Let's call it image 404. From. And next, we need to access our assets. Assets. Images 404.png. And here we have the path to this image. Insert the picture. What are the errors? Children, I made a typo there. Children. Okay, good. Now it doesn't give errors, but it's asking us to add something to this picture. Alt attribute is required. Okay, adding the alt attribute. Empty. This alt is needed for the visually impaired or those whose images don't load, so they can read its description. This picture doesn't carry any semantic load, so no need to pay attention to it if it's not displayed. Okay, inserted the image. It's been inserted, but now it's of its original size. Yeah, and we'd like it to be, let's say, at most full width. And if its width is larger, it would automatically scale down. All right, so first, let's examine this image. Firstly, let's look at its SRC. See, it added this path. And when we build our White application, this path will be replaced with the one where it will generate and place the image. So, White now handles where the path is. We don't need to worry. Our main task is to import it here properly, okay? And also, which is important. All right, we will build it now and see where the images end up. All right, for now, let's make it responsive. So, We see this image. It's originally 1600 by 1200. Here it is. We'll prepare it to display well on a Retina display, where pixel counts as 2. Good. So we need the width. What was it again? 1600, 1200. So we make the view half size, 1600, 1200, and the height half size, 600, right? Set its default proportions. It is now acceptable in some places, but not in others. Accordingly, we need to apply some correct styles to it. We create a class name, CSS.image. Right, CSS. Import CSS. Create a file, index.module.css. And add the following code. Okay? Tell the image that its max width is 100%. And height should be set automatically. What does this give us? On larger screen resolutions, it is at its original size. If it encounters a small screen, it shrinks or compresses. Great! We've inserted the image. Now let's build our project and see where the images end up. For this, we'll run a command from our package.json on the front end. So, package.json, we have a build command, pnpm run build. Okay, let's see. Excellent. Built. Let's go check in the dist folder. Here it is, our resulting one, assets. And here we see our image, which has some funny suffix. It is needed so that if we replace this image with another one, it is not cached in the browser, and during build, it will replace this ending. This is how our images end up here. And as you can notice, what we had in the public folder was just directly copied to the dist folder, accordingly sort of to the root of our site. Great. We've learned to add images this way. We can move on. Thank you all. Goodbye.